Well, aloha everyone, Joshua Hayes at BigWaveTrading.com with another freemium video for the weekend. My apologies about not making one last weekend. It's been very hectic over here on Maui. I think everyone is coming to Maui now. I don't know why. I wish it wasn't quite as busy as it is, but we constantly are having friends and family coming just randomly. We don't even know that they're here until they let us know they're here. So I've been having to do a lot of tourist stuff lately, and also in March I have to go to the Big Island. So I mean, this is going to continue to the middle of March, it looks like. But the bottom line is, right now the market, it looks a little weak, and I want to start this off by looking at just the SPY, the QQQ, and IWM, and the various technical indicators that I use. So short term, the SPY on a daily, we're selling off, and we're selling off once again on huge volume. The momentum line is still positive, but as you can see, it's been building for a while. It turned down on Friday, but more importantly, the time segment volume on the daily basis has crashed below its moving average. That indicates time to slow down, pump the brakes. Now the QQQ, even worse. Volume, huge. Finally, all those Momo, big cap names, looks like it's finally coming to an end short term. Downtick in the momentum line, downtick in the TSV. And if we look at the IWM, better pullback. This gives me some hope, and we're going to go further into this here in a minute. Shallower pullback, only down 1% on the day. TSV is negative, but I want to show everybody on a weekly basis the time segment volume line is still trending above its moving average. While the momentum kind of has been waning, still the IWM overall on a more week-to-week basis still looks okay. Same with QQQ. This can always get worse. I do expect it to get worse short term. I would be looking for at minimum a 5% pullback from these levels. But after that, I'm going to start looking for buy zones, because not only is this overall uptrending and we're well above the zero line, but on a monthly basis, the most important line I have ever used to keep me on the right side, and that tells me to increase size in this market, is getting closer to return. Now, this has been negative the entire uptrend since the summer of 2018 in the SPY. This has been negative the entire uptrend since the summer of 2018. This has been negative in the IWM the entire uptrend since even earlier at the start of the summer of 2018. So things have not been good for a long period of time for my monthly time segment volume, which just shows you how out of whack this market is in relation to price and volume. That being said, I know you can see the green line above the moving average here on the IWM on a monthly basis, but I can tell you, I use TradingView.com as my official time segment volume chart for the IWM, and none of these have turned bullish yet. QQQ, DIA, and IWM. In fact, we can't trust a reading till the end of this month. Once February closes out, I will check TradingView.com, see where we stand. And if we are bullish on the IWM, if we have crossed above that signal line, that moving average line, I will start to increase size per each long signal, depending on how many different end-of-day scans they show up in on my end. I run a various about, I'd say 5 to 10 different end-of-day scans. I'll look at them all, most of the time, all 10 of them. And that means if one stock shows up in 10 different scans, it'll get 10% of my capital. If it's a perfect, beautiful, hot, wonderful, well-formed, correctly formed, amazingly formed stock in regards to price, volume, and BOP, I'll increase size all the way up to 20% per each long signal, as long as there's no catalyst forward-looking event ahead, like earnings release, a phase 2, phase 3 data point from a biotech. So keep that in mind. Now, with all that being said, I want to also show you some of the other indicators. This is on a daily basis on the IWM. MACD is still uptrending on a daily basis. RSI is uptrending on a daily basis. Stochastics is overbought, and it is rolling lower, but it still isn't bad. And why the IWM histogram is still green and still overall positive. On a weekly basis, still looks, it's mixed. It's mixed on a weekly. On a monthly basis, that's what I want to say. Looks good. Bullish, 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 bullish PPO, and it has gone green. So if we can consider that with the time segment volume, If the time segment volume then turns green on IWM, bullish signal, awesome. The IWM is the only index that has acted correctly, in my opinion, via price action when we look at this time segment volume indicator that I just added right here. I know it's very difficult to see, but like I said, it's been in a downtrend ever since it crossed lower in July 2018. And if it curls higher, that will hopefully indicate the small caps and mid caps want to outperform. But I'll remind everybody, it has still, with QQQ, I've never seen it move. Let me go back to the other chart. I've never seen the QQQ diverge so much up compared to the TSV and the SPY. You can back test this with the S&P 500 all the way back to the 1950s. You will never find this 24-12 period TSV bearish for this long and the SPY uptrending for as long as it has. This is an anomaly in the market historically. So quite a wild and weird market we have overall. Now, with all that out of the way, I just want to show you that despite the craziness in the market short term with the pullback in the SPY and the QQQ, remember, Friday was a huge red day. Now, I had some losers on Friday, raised some cash. I'm heading into Monday with 6% capital available. Normally, when we're around new highs, I have 0%. Never quite got to 0% on this most recent up leg higher, this entire move here. I always had at least 1 to 2% cash on hand in the end of day account. Now, following Thursday's and Friday's session, I have 6% cash on hand. But considering the sell-off in the market on Friday, I would have thought it would have been 10%. And I'll show you how the market might be indicating small caps want to take over with the positions that I'm currently long. So let's take a look at those. All right, so this has happened after Friday's session. IGMS actually gave me a long signal. Where is this now? Where is the long? The long signal is all the way back here. So this was the long signal. 42.90 is my stop and limit. It never failed that initial signal because it pulled back on lighter volume, kept the green bop, but it finally triggered up and through that price level all the way on February 11th, which means the signal came on December 30th, but didn't trigger till February 11th. Since that signal has triggered, IGMS has moved straight up. And despite this overall market, IGMS in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 days is up 41%. It's not too bad out there, right? Okay, so we just looked at one. Then let's look at a recent long position. TBLT. This was the long signal on the end of day basis given to members of the website. The very next day, triggered and filled. Woo-hoo, it's a miracle. I got filled on something that actually moved a ton. It's been so rare lately. And it continued on Friday. It's already hit 50% of my profit targets, which was 19 cents. It has continued higher. My next 50% profit target is 29 cents. I've added a stop below Friday's low a day. But in 2 sessions, 50% gain. Not bad. DPW, long signal, back here. This is what it looked like. There was actually a couple within here. This is one right here. So let's focus on this one. 151 is the trigger. Triggers this day, 123. This was actually not a long signal because it's down on the day, so it couldn't have been. This was the long signal right here on the 16th. Triggers and fills the next day. Kind of doesn't do anything for a while, but finally explodes higher. However, my first profit target was 230. I initially had it at, where is it? 248. Whenever it was gapping up, it quite wasn't making 248, so I dropped it down to 230. Thank goodness I did, because it only got up to 234. So I'm out a half of DPW. The half I have remaining, adding a stop here. I got a stop here. Final stop right there. But DPW, 24% gain in 1 month. Not bad, once again, for a market that isn't doing a whole lot in the super short term. MTEM, this is what the new long position looked like there. It's a perfect speculator quality scan stock. Candle over candle, or hammer candle off the strong price support on heavier above average volume. Increasing green bop. Steadily has moved higher, hitting new highs after Friday's session despite the overall market. That is a 63% gain in a little over 2 months, averaging 31% each month. Not bad. Then there's AU after Friday's session. This was the initial long signal right here. Hammer candle over candle off the 50-day moving average on heavier above average volume. Increase in green bop. Took a while, but now it's really starting to move. AUY, 34% gain in 1, 2, 3+ months. Not bad for a gold stock, averaging 10% per month there. And then I only want to go over 2 more. ELA. This is one that I told everybody I really, really like this setup. This is what I'm seeing on his longer-term version. Ascending base, volatility contraction out the yin-yang right here. Super volatility contraction pattern following this ascending base. Weekly chart, you can see it a little bit better. Breaks out now. Unfortunately, with the ELA, this could have been a 3% long position for me. Remember, right now, without a hot, beautiful, pretty, perfect chart, I'm not increasing size. I still have a bearish TSV. I'm not increasing size. Can't trust anything. Can't tell what's actually going to work and what's not going to work. So I'm just throwing darts at each one. It's about $5,000 in each position. Could have been a long signal here, but didn't close at the high of the day. Could have been a long signal here, but didn't close at the high of the day. Notice the surge in bop here. Notice the max green bop here. Notice the heavier increasing volume each day. Couldn't take either one of those signals because they closed too far off the high of the day. Then finally we had this session. Finally got into ELA. And ELA, despite a little bit of rough water here, has been nothing but straight up 73% gain in a little over 1 month. And this would have been a larger position had it not closed off the high of the days and or would have had a bullish time segment volume on a monthly basis. But that's pretty impressive. How about super short term? IDXG from my Perfect Speculator quality scan. Once again, based off the book, The Perfect Speculator by Brad Kodeshwar, one of the most underrated stock market books out there. IDXG has worked immediately. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days. The gain, 26% in 5 days. So it isn't all bad out there. Had to cut some losses on some. I had some failures on Friday. ESE failed. That was what? 6% loss. TER failed. That was a 3% gain from the very first long signal, which was right here. So got a 3% gain. Remember, for the winners, I round down. For the losers, I round up. So instead of calling this a 4% gain, I'm calling it a 3% gain. I still pay commissions at Interactive Brokers for my end-of-day stuff. I don't use a $0 commission broker. Then ICHR failed. That was an 8% loss. And then Vico was a new long, and that failed. And that was just a recent new long position right there. Seemed pretty safe to me. Earnings winner, pulled back, retraced about 38.2% of the move from this low to this high, but it failed. Nothing I can do. So what are you going to do? It's 11% loss. But let's add all that up. 11% loss, 8% loss, a 3% gain, a 6% loss. Compare that to the 41% gain, the 50% gain, the 23% gain, the 63% gain, the 34% gain, the 73% gain, the 26% gain. And you can see, as long as your winners are bigger than your losers, especially if you cut the losers short, because trust me, I didn't lose a full 11% in Vico. I had stops in place to protect my capital before it ever became this bad of a loss. Same with TER. I didn't gain 3% on the position. I gained more. Same with ICHR. I didn't lose 8%. I lost less because I'm constantly raising my stops after each weird price action. So following this session, there's a stop right below this low a day, out of 50% the next day. So before it even fails, I'm already out of most of it. ESE, whenever I went long here, immediately, stop goes there now. Boom, out of 50% of it. 33% of it because I had an emergency stop here. Then we have this one. Now my final stop is basically right here because I still go ahead and keep it, the final stop there, because it's pulling back on lower volume and increasing green bop. It just so happened to fail. But once again, I didn't lose a full 6% on ESE. I lost right around 3%. And that's how I manage my positions. So with all that out of the way, I do want to give everybody a potential trade candidate this week. MANT. MANT is a recent ER winner. That's what happened on Thursday. Bullish reversal hammer candle pattern on Friday on well above average volume with a bop exploding to the max green level. Now, MANT is Perfect Speculator quality, scan quality. It's also an excellent CANSOM quality. It has a 99 composite rating, 94 EPS, 91 relative strength rating, A-, C, A+ letter grades at IBD and is #1 in its industry group. And it does have 2.3% of its float short, according to FinViz. So I figure this is an add signal for me. See that white arrow there? This was the long signal. I'm already long MANT. There was an add signal here. So I already have 2 long positions in MANT. But as it consolidated through here, got chopped out of a little bit. So I have about 1.5% of my account capital in this stock. If I get filled on Monday, it'll be 2.5%. Here is the game plan with MANT. 88.56, good to cancel, buy stop. 88.56, good to cancel, buy limit. So my stop price and my limit price is at 88.56, and I only want to get long up and through 88.56. I don't want this damn stock to gap up, pull back to 88.56 and fill me. The only way that I'll call it back on if it gaps up is if the bid, ask, and price all get back below 88.56. Then I will call the trade back on as long as that pullback is orderly. If that pullback happens on huge volume, I will wait for the stock to reconsolidate before calling that order back on. If it trades up and through 88.56 and fills me, it has to fill me. I want to show you a stock I didn't get filled on Friday. Thanks a lot. FTFT. This was the long signal right here. Notice the max green bop. Notice the flat base. Notice all the bullish wicks and open candles. I'm so happy it didn't fill me. This has become a recurring nightmare on my end the entire 2020 year. So I'm actually kind of glad there's people in town on Maui because I need a break from this kind of crap. It keeps happening to me. So FTFT, I blew it. Missed out on it. Didn't blow it. The order was out there. It just triggered and didn't fill. Nothing I can do. If MANT fills, the first stop loss level is right there. 84.54. 1 cent below the low a day. The final stop on this add signal, I still have stops going all the way back down to here. So I'm still using these lows here. That will at least allow me to leave the position flat from this entry and this entry right here. But 82.34 is my final stop, the Thursday low of day. And that's how I'll be doing MANT. Now, if MANT fills tomorrow, trades higher, and let's say the low a day is right here, like around 85.70, then 33% of my stops will be at 85.70. 33% will be right below 84.54, and the final 33.3333% will be at 82.34. All right, everybody, we're nearing that 20-minute mark. I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. Once again, I got stuff to do. I have a dinner meeting tonight, and I have a dinner meeting tomorrow with individuals that I know, so the crazy week continues. I apologize to everybody who's a member of the chat room. It's just going to be crazy until about the middle of March. Then as the whales start to leave, and they are going off right now around Maui, full breaches, half breaches, tail flukes, everything. It's been amazing. It's been an amazing winter. So anyway, I'm going to wrap the video up here. Please, 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 I would greatly appreciate it if you could all at the very least give me a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Ring that bell. Please leave a comment. Help me out and feed that YouTube algorithm so this video can continue to move up in the searches at YouTube. If that happens, I'll produce more and more free content for the social media and YouTube community. But you don't like, you don't comment, you don't subscribe, then we'll keep doing this once a week, 2 times a week. All right, everyone. Take care. Aloha.